Okay, folks, we got for the first time ever, we got Mr. Urian. He's got a very interesting story. I was talking to him on the phone just a couple of days ago, and we got Razor Rick. Razor Rick has got a channel on Telegram that basically talks a lot about one of my favorite subjects, med beds. That's how we got introduced to each other. So Urian and I started talking. We must have spent maybe close to an hour on the phone the other day, right? And we're talking
Yes, sir.
about
Yep.
health and all of that. And he saw me in one of my podcasts drinking out of a glass bottle. He says, "Okay, this guy, he knows some shit, you know." And when you get to be as old as I am, I know I look great for my age. You get to learn a few things. You know what I mean? You go around the block a couple of times. You make a couple of mistakes, whatever. But obviously, you had a talk about that if you don't mind. Your surgery, you had a brain surgery.
Yeah, I had a brain tumor. I had Cushing's disease. It's like 1 in 4 million that happens. It's usually due to like fluoride, other
Interesting.
like, heavy metals, lead, buildup of
Wow.
mercury, anything that you can get from that don't leave the body very well.
Mm-hmm.
And it created all sorts of hormones deficiencies, problems, tachycardia, anxiety, the whole
Interesting.
9 yards.
Wow. So anyway, before we start here, I just want to let everybody know, yes, these people are all XRP investors. Down below, we give you the Quantum Financial Systems Manual. It is priceless. It's worth millions of dollars. These are all the best videos online in elementary form in a chronological order that the average person, I don't care if you're in eighth grade or if you're 29 or 129, you can understand what's about to happen on planet Earth. We're going through a quantum change. There's a quantum fabric coming. We're never going back to fiat. Join our Telegram. It's completely free of charge. We got a bunch of patriots in there. We got almost 10,000 subscribers between the two channels that we run. And we also have a room, the Trump room, that talks about that election thing that wasn't supposed to happen, that happened, et cetera, as well. So if you like to talk politics, you can go there. We'll redirect you over there. We don't talk about politics in the XRP room. XRP is basically going to be the bus that drives GESARA and NESARA. We're going to back the gold. We're going to tokenize the gold. So anyway, we got to talking because this gentleman actually got blocked. Somebody obviously blocked him. He made a posted something innocently. So he contacted me through an intermediary and we fixed it. He's a cool guy. I said, yeah, no problem. I said, I'll give you a chance, but if you come in there to make trouble, believe me, my snipers will put so many bullets in your head, they won't even recognize your body. You'll be out of there fast. Anyway, so Razor, what's going on in your room? I know you got a little bit of growth going on. If I'm sending you people, I'm sending you quality because most of my people are top notch for sure.
Yeah. Well, we're just trying to piece it together. It can be a complicated puzzle, trying to get everybody coordinated in different groups and stuff, different areas, more importantly.
Mm-hmm.
There's a little bit of drama going on in the med bed world, but
well,
okay.
It's expected. But, we're talking about a science that sort of sounds like when you try to explain it to people, more like a magic trick than an actual, medical miracle, if you will, and it is. It's really more of a medical miracle as far as I'm concerned than it is a magic trick. I know that the guys upstairs that fly around in these flying discs contractions have had it for eons. We weren't even around. None of us were around when they had that technology. They've had it for centuries. And now it's finally here. Yeah. And it's been here. It's been here for at least 30 years that we can sort of estimate, but it's been hidden from you, just like the fact that fluoride is bad for you and you shouldn't be using Colgate or Crest.
But they tell you it's good for your teeth. It's good for that. It's a neurotoxin. It completely takes over your body over time. It calcifies your pituitary gland.
Okay, what is your pituitary gland? Speaking in simple English, is that your pineal gland?
It's your pineal gland. Yep.
Okay, great.
Some people call it the third eye or different things like that, depending on where you're at in the world and your origin.
It's amazing. And it's amazing that once you stop using this crap, it's like we get these multi-billion-dollar corporations selling you toothpaste, selling you food, selling you cars,
deodorant.
A deodorant. Everything is designed to give you cancer. It's designed to kill you. It's designed to, it's designed for you not to have a quality of life. We're about to get off the treadmill in many different aspects. from a food production standpoint, from underarm deodorant that's good for you and not bad for you. I've been using toothpaste. I use Himalayan toothpaste. You could buy it at like a health food store there in the United States, just about anywhere, but I get it from Amazon because I live in Costa Rica. So when you live in Costa Rica, you have no choice. Somebody flies in, you order it quickly, you're on Prime, it goes to their house, and it's usually the same day sometimes. And we get it down, we buy like, 10 tubes at a time. But I used to pay, $20 a tube toothpaste when you guys were paying $1.99 for a tube of toothpaste,
Right.
but it had no
The bad
fluoride.
stuff is cheap.
Yeah, now it's cheaper. Now it's a lot cheaper.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but like the bad stuff is cheap. They make it cheap so you consume it because they want you to be sick. Because there's no money. There's no money in healthy people, and there's no money in dead people. You got to keep them right there in that one spot. It's like aluminum is all in all deodorant. Creates breast cancer in women, Alzheimer's and stuff in people. We got aluminum pans, aluminum cookware, all this stuff. It's another toxin. It's another neurotoxin. It goes to the brain. You can't flush it out. Once it gets through the blood-brain barrier, it's a wrap. It takes, you'd have to really know the stuff that you're not educated. You have to dig for this stuff to figure out, how do I get that out of my body? What cleanses can I do? And then it's a long period. That's why I'm excited about the med beds.
Well, the med beds, like, for example, I'll give you a classic example. My mom, who has smoked, 50 years of her life, 60 years of her lifetime. Then she became a heavy smoker when my brother had epilepsy, and because the stress was so much, so she took it out on herself, and she became like a chain smoker. She can go inside that med bed. Now she's got like last stage emphysema. She might not last another year, for example, but let's just say that Cynthia can provide a med bed in the next month or two, right? She can go inside that med bed. It will not only reverse the emphysema and all the elements that she probably doesn't even know she has, because the medical field is a complete disaster. They have no idea. It's like you're a lab rat to these people. That's what you are. And they keep feeding you drugs. You go, oh, I got this side effect. Oh, take these 3 other. Next thing you know, you're taking 29, 39 different kind of drugs. It's ridiculous. And none of these drugs fix anything. They create a bigger problem.
The symptoms. It gets rid of the symptom. The root cause is still there.
Exactly. And that's the problem. So my mom, for example, she can go inside a med bed, and it would be like equivalent to her never, ever picking up one cigarette. Within 2 hours, she comes out the other side. Her cells are optimized. Within an hour, her skin starts to get really tight, like a 40-year-old person, 30-year-old person. And then what happens over the period of 6-7 weeks, the cells are constantly working to improve and improve and improve. You go back to within 7 weeks, you go back to being, you were never like that. Not even when you came out of your mother's womb. You understand? Right. So not even when you were in the best shape of your life when you were in high school. This is like you being back in high school times maybe 20, 30 times better than that. If you could sort of wrap your mind around what I just saw. But you understand? I remember I used to bench like 250 pounds when I was in high school. You know what I mean?
Right.
Imagine being able to do 3 times that with ease and do more reps and do it, longer, better, etc. And your cells are responding.
We're born into toxicity. I mean, what our moms take in that goes to the baby through the umbilical cord, you're automatically on board in toxicity.
Right.
That's why the autism rate is through the roof right now.
Yeah, because of those things that go in the arm. Make sure you call it those things that go in the arm. Don't call it that, because the words have to be exactly, because we're still in communist. Until the white hats, can you please take over YouTube? I'm getting tired of this shit, because I'm getting ready to put 8 million people in this freaking thing. You know what I mean? I want to rumble. Listen, I'm the kind of guy. I used to be in pizzas, not to get off subject. I used to be in, I've owned pizza shops. I got so good at pizzas, I got bored. I got to the top of my game, to the point where I got cocky. I used to say, there's 3 ways to make pizzas: the right way, the wrong way, and the way that I do it. You know what I mean? Right. And I used to have lines. I mean, my brothers will tell you, but I used to have lines around the corner. I mean, people used to wait 45 minutes, an hour to get a slice of pizza, and they would wait in line. You know what I mean? That's how good I was. And I'm going to try to do the same thing with YouTube, building the biggest channel the world has ever seen, or I'm going to be the laughing stock of the world. And that's okay too. I could say, listen, I failed at YouTube. But believe me, in this market, because the markets are alive, the markets speak. If the markets don't like you, they'll spit you out and chew you up and throw you away in a second. Okay. So
Right.
we went from building 836 people and getting shut down. Then I was like, holy shit. I mean, you went from, 836. It took us like 3.5 months to build 836 people because we had no idea what the hell we were doing. Right. And then it took us less than 2.5 months to build 6,000 people. So I'm starting to sort of get the hang of it, get a rhythm. Right. And so
Right.
what I did is I went on the Grant Cardone show, which he's my all-time favorite entrepreneur of all time, real estate mogul, self-made, worth $5 billion, got the trophy wife, got all the toys, the helicopter, the yachts, the what do you call it? The Gulfstream 750, all of it. Right. And I called into his show and I basically said, hey, at the end of my spiel about XRP, I said, I respect, your real estate gig, but where it's at is XRP is gonna be the new Bitcoin. So anyway, there's a whole thing. I'll send you the link. But anyway, at the end of that thing, I said, can I give myself a plug? Because I know he's got 1.8 million listeners, right? Boom. I went to my channel like 2 hours later. I went from 0, my new channel, to 700 people in like 2 hours. And I was back up to the races. So it took me 2 hours, maybe 3 hours to build, past 800 people, but took me 3.5 months prior. Because I'm New York, New Jersey, man. I think very quick on my feet,
Right. Yeah.
You got to, right?
Yeah.
So Razor, have you ever had any situations like Urian? Nothing like that, right? No
What do you
brain
mean?
surgery.
No, but
Any
there's
sickness or
probably,
illness.
no, I was in that motorcycle wreck 2 years ago, fractured
Oh, you
my
remember?
temple.
Yeah.
That's about it. Other than that, no. There's probably some people that would argue with you that I probably should have had some brain surgery, but that's okay. I haven't been to my doctor in about a year, and I was going to him and for a while, pre-hypertension, so they talked me into taking the blood pressure meds for a while, and it's like I changed doctors because they changed systems, and I quit taking it. I had a good stockpile of Melodipine and stuff like that, and Lanosapril and everything. But and then after the accident, I started going to my new doctor, and one of the rounds with blood tests, I go back in after they took the blood, and go back a few days later or whatever, and they say, well, your blood test came back and you're pre-diabetic. I'm like, oh, there's another pre this, pre that,
Yeah.
I told him, I said, well, doc, let me tell you, I'm pre-dead too. So what are we going to do about that?
Right.
Yeah, it's like, they come up with all these verbs and all these things so that they could sell you their drugs. We're in a situation where this is all nothing more than a money machine for them. And the people that fall for this shit, shame on you, man.
They got those middlemen that sell everything. They make profits off of it. So they're
Of
going out there,
course.
these sell reps, and like they try to get me on my cholesterol. They're like, hey, you got to take this fish oil. I'm like, well, I'll just get over the counter. Like, no, but this stuff here is a concentrate of the other stuff. And it was like $200 a bottle. I'm like, no, I'll start working out and start eating healthy,
Exactly. Go eat some salmon and some mackerel and get the real fish oil from the fish. It's not that difficult.
5 years ago, I was going to this one doctor, and he talked me into finally taking the blood pressure meds, right? And then, so I'm taking it. He said, it'll lower the RPMs of my motor, and my motor will last longer if it's not racing so much. And he put it in those mechanical terms. I said, all right, we'll try it. And then a little bit down the road, it was like, how's things going? They're always checking. He says, I'll give you a prescription for this Lanosapril. So I started taking that. 2 weeks, it felt like somebody was shoving, not real painful, but needles up in the back of my head. So when I went back to him, he says, how's that going? I said, I quit taking that because, this and everything. So then fast forward a little bit, I lost him in my system. We changed, he was no longer recognized in my union insurance. So I find this other guy, beautiful. He's like, I equated him to Trapper John. Okay.
Mhm.
Old school. I tell him he goes over what I'm doing, what I'm taking and everything. And he's, like, what, why are you taking this? He'd take my blood pressure in 3 different positions, standing up, laying down, sitting down. And every time he kept doing, of course it's different. It's different when I walk in the place,
Of
maybe the
course.
anticipation of seeing the doctor and all this other stuff. And he says, you don't need to take that shit. He took me right off at all. Like,
I mean,
okay.
people don't understand. Like, I'm going to give you some tips. But like I said, I've been around, and like I'm sure. So you guys probably know about what I'm about to talk to you about. High blood pressure, lemon and cayenne pepper with water. You got no more high blood pressure. Okay.
Blood sugar, cinnamon.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%.
It helps with
You got it.
metabolism, breaks down cinnamon. It helps your pancreas with insulin levels. I mean, dandelions help with your heart.
Absolutely.
I mean, guess who owns Roundup? Bear Aspirin. They own the Roundup company that kills dandelions out of your yard.
Because they don't want you eating those. Because if you eat those, you get too healthy. You'll be around for a long time, and you'll be spending your XRP. That's not allowed.
Right.
You know what I mean? Or your Zims or your dinars.
You know what I told him? I said, listen, I ride a motorcycle in Vegas. Okay. The day I got taken out, it was just freaked that I was only doing 40 miles an hour approaching that intersection. And it wasn't until I read the report, because I don't even remember hitting the car. I woke up, the paramedics were already there working on me. The motorcycle cop I just saluted 3 or 4 blocks down walks up and says, didn't I just see you over there? And I'm like, yeah, that was me. Normally, well, when I read the report, it said I had a fresh green, and then they ran their red arrow or tried to cheat it. And that means I probably backed off of it because it was still red. Then I seen it turn green. And I probably just started rolling back on it because, I thought I had clear sailing. But typically on any given day, I tell people this all the time when they tell me to be safe, or no, be safe is fine. Don't tell me to ride safe, because if you see me ride, you really wouldn't perceive it to be safe riding. But there's reasons we do stuff the way we do it. But I said, listen, on any given intersection where I've got a green, I look down at my speedometer, I'm doing between 50 and 70 miles an hour. Usually more on the higher end, if I'm coming up and it's just go through. So there's the thing. I could have theoretically hit that car doing 60 miles an hour. We wouldn't be talking right now.
Oh, absolutely.
So it wouldn't have mattered if I was full on type 1 diabetic, full on no pre-hypertension, but blood pressure, and taking my meds like a good little patient. It wouldn't have mattered. None of that would have mattered at that instance. Boom.
You're done. Lights out.
I tell people, it's like, it would.
That's the same thing in my dune buggy. When I ride my dune buggy, I know maybe I'm a little bit more protected than a motorcycle, but not really much. Okay, I got a roll cage, whatever. But if I'm on a straightaway and there's nobody coming and nobody in front of me, nobody behind me, and there's nobody around, I'm gunning it. You know what I mean? It's just, every male, I think, that's got some testosterone. I know those kinds of males are no longer in existence today. They're like dying, like dinosaurs. Okay. But any male has got a little bit of a speed demon, like Tom Cruise. I feel the need for speed. I got that, and believe me, I've done 100 miles an hour in this dune buggy. 80 miles an hour, you'll be shitting in your pants. 100 is scary as shit.
I've done 120 right out here on the highway. Well, even right here on the road that comes off the highway on my bike. Oh, it's just what it is. And I tell people, I say, listen, it does not matter if I got a helmet on, seatbelt, safety harness for, like on work, and I'm wrapped up in a dog attack suit and strapped down to my bed.
If you hit it hard enough, you hit it hard enough.
Right.
If God wants me, he's going to take me.
But he's going to send
You
you
know?
right back because you're a rebel. You're going to be a thorn in their side again. They send guys like me and you right back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're going to put you, as soon as you get there, they're going to put you in a waiting room, you know?
Yep.
And next thing you know,
Yep.
you'll be born again into some other little body, some little cute body, and you'll be probably smarter than before because you're, you know, computer literate and all that kind of shit because you live in a different era. And, you know, they send guys like me and you. I'm sure I've been here before. I can assure you of that.
I tell my wife that all the time, and she's like, I don't know about that. And I'm like, I'm just telling you, like, I feel like I've been through this thing. To be able to acquire the information that you acquire, meet the people that you meet, it's almost like it's like pre-planned, birds of a feather flock together. You know, people the same interest are going to meet, you know.
Absolutely. No question about it.
Did you see that video I sent you earlier?
Which one?
The one with the guy in the hospital bed and the doctor comes up and talks to him.
I didn't see that yet. I'm going to go back to, I was at a potluck party today. But see, guys, we don't talk just about XRP and keep it boring. We mix it up. We talk a little political. We have to watch our words, obviously, because of the communism going on, which you guys are going out of business soon. I promise you, you're going to go out of business. Okay.
This is information warfare. And the more we educate, the more people that understand, the more research they'll start digging. It's planting that seed.
Exactly. So, you know, part of our thing is we want to make sure that we give you some information about dandelions, for example, so you can keep you healthy, so you could stick around for a few more years if the med beds get here delayed, for example. Hopefully not, Cynthia. Cynthia, I'm counting on you. So, but I'm just telling you that, you know, I want to figure out how, you know, listen, years ago, I was into some rough shit. Okay. I mean, Rick, I'm sure you can attest to some of the stuff you were probably into as well. Okay. And, you know, as you go through life, you're going to either choose keep going down the wrong road and you're either going to end up dead or in jail, or you're going to choose the right road. Thank goodness I decided to choose the right road, you know? So, but, you know, we want everybody to stay healthy and know as much information as possible. This is an information warfare. You go to a doctor, they're programmed to kill you. They're programmed to sell you drugs. They're going to get a bonus and they're going to go to Hawaii on your bonus and they're going to laugh their ass off because you were so stupid to fall into their little fucking trap. Okay. We're trying to tell you, hey, drink your hibiscus tea, take your dandelion supplements, take all this stuff. Like, for example, I have people that, you know, I got, my daughter has got, whatchamacallit, there's they're manic depressant. Manic depressant is one of the easiest things to fix. It's a supplement called
5-HTP.
5-HTP, exactly. 5-HTP will reset your sleep clock. You would be amazed at just being able to sleep properly and getting your REM sleep, your rapid eye movement. That's what it stands for. Your REM sleep. You do that for a week or 2 weeks, and your manic depressant shit magically disappears. What do you know? You know, but the doctor's not going to tell you that because he needs to make a bonus because he wants to go to Hawaii on your stupidity.
It's that 5-HTP helps you produce serotonin. It helps your body produce serotonin.
Bingo. You knew about that.
And melatonin.
I'm still really starting to like you, Urian.
Man, I do my research. That's all I've done for years. My wife's like, you overeducate yourself. What do you need all this knowledge for? I'm like, maybe
no such
one
thing.
day.
No such thing.
Maybe one day this might come in handy.
My wife always asks me, she said, Mel, when am I going to graduate? And I say, never. I said, I haven't graduated yet. You constantly learn. That's what you do. You learn and you wake up and you learn some more and you do it every day. You know,
the smartest man I ever knew is one that knew he didn't know everything.
Exactly. When I went to school, my mom will tell you, okay, she got called into the PTA meetings and to all the, school meetings because I was a rebel. I wasn't going to do, God forbid they had somebody like me right now in their classrooms. You're going to tell me to wear one of those diapers? You got a problem on your hands. Big time. Huge. But, they put these kids on soy milk.
my teacher, I'll probably have to send her this video. She always said, Miss Boyer, she was my chemistry teacher. She said, you're either going to do two things in life. Either you're going to be an evil scientist or you're going to change the world. She's like, I hope you're going to change the world because you're going to be very successful at either one you do.
It's more fun changing the world than to be an evil scientist. I don't want to hurt anybody.
Exactly.
You know, I don't want to, my whole thing, I'm on a crusade. I really mean this. I mean, listen very carefully to what I'm about to tell you because it's very profound. I don't find any pleasure in driving down the street and I got my beautiful trophy wife and I got my two kids in the back seat and I'm driving a $700,000 Rolls Royce Phantom, okay? And I'm driving underneath the bridges of America and the rest of America is eating out of a garbage can, sleeping on a cardboard box. I don't find any pleasure in that. I want everybody to have some. You know?
Well, here's the thing. Misery loves company. I don't want my group of people around me to be miserable. I want everybody to be elevated, you know,
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
You don't want to be in a miserable world. That's where hate and everything else starts kicking in.
My wife will tell you, I drive down the street. I have a problem watching these people wearing this thing all day long. 90% of them are 95% still are wearing this. I have a problem with it. It affects me. Okay, so if something this like so stupid, so minute, somebody would say, I feel like, you know, you got a family with kids walking down the street and the whole family's like this. You got 3-year-old kids with a diaper. To me, that's child abuse. This is child abuse. The other day, I met a friend of mine in San Jose, and I said, listen, Trump is coming back. What are you doing with those kids? Take the freaking masks off. And I said the word F, you know? Yeah, mom, let's take the fucking mask off, the kid says.
Wow.
I shit you not. You know, Mel is right. He goes, let's take the fucking mask off, you know? Unbelievable.
I had a church member when I started rejoining church back in 2005, a very profound statement. I remembered it to this day. He says, if you want to be angry and alone, all you got to do is be angry.
Exactly.
That's
exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
And you know, I got to tell you, the American people, I gotta give it to them. They have really shown tremendous restraint. And the reason why they've shown restraint is because they decided to get educated on this 17th letter in the alphabet. And a lot of us are following all the breadcrumbs very, very closely. Because if they weren't educated right now, you'd have a lot of Americans with their shotguns walking through the streets, hunting the Nancy Pelosi's and the Joe Bidens. Nothing would save you. Nothing. You know, you have to understand there's 100 million people in America packing heat, and the average person's got 5 guns. It's 500 million guns. You know what I mean? You would have a serious problem on your hands. And they're not going to go hunting for the people who have different political views. They would go directly to the source. I know this.
Oh, yeah.
Because I look at a guy like Rick Razor here. Rick is the kind of guy that's got a lot of common sense. He's not going to go shoot his neighbor because he's a Democrat, you know, and feel sorry for him. Yeah, but I'm not going to go shoot him. I'm going to go shoot the guy that caused this whole fucking problem.
Yeah.
You go after the source.
I want to mention detoxing. I've been involved with zeolite powder since 2005.
Amazing stuff.
Yeah.
Some of the best stuff is right out here in Amargosa Springs. And the guy that was running the mill site at the time, I went there to do an electrical job. I'm like, what is this stuff? Should I be wearing a mask and everything? He says, no, I mean, other than the silica.
Right.
He says, you see that dog over there? I look, and this dog, you know, jumped up and came running over to me when I was going out there. He says, when that dog first came out here, it couldn't move its hind legs, basically dragging itself around, peeing on itself. But from being out there, it had mobility and everything, right? So now I'm still in touch with this buddy today. I'm waiting for him to be able to cross the border out of Canada. He's got mining claims up here in northern Arizona for a zeolite mine, which has other things on it too. but he sent a sample in, and even as good as that stuff was out in Armagosa Springs, which was like 98% pure, the guy that did the testing, he says, "Where'd you get this?" You know, and so I'm waiting for him to come down here. That's going to be incorporated in one of my projects with well drilling, fresh water on the Indian reservations, infrastructure development, the whole 9 yards. I was eating it raw. I don't advocate the liquid, because the school of thought is it's, you know, how much zeolite do you actually getting if it's diluted like that, you know? So when in 2005, I was taking a scoop like every day, you know, running it through my body. And I had people say, do you feel anything? I said, you know what I feel? A lack of anxiety that no matter what's in the food supply or I'm ingesting and everything, the zeolite's going through me to take care of that. Because when the government uses it to remove radiation from water, here's an interesting side note. You know that movie Thunderheart?
No, I didn't see that one yet.
It's got Val Kilmer, takes place on an Indian reservation. He's a young FBI agent, and he's sent there with a more senior guy. There's a murder on there, so they're working with the tribal police and all this. And then there's this situation going on between the old Indians and the young bucks that they want to change things. The government wants to come in and a land grab basically. And there's this thing called the Stronghold, which was this horseshoe shaped canyon, right? And so just on a whim, I look it up, and I find this article about the Lakota Indians and the Stronghold. And in the movie, it was about uranium. The government wanted to come in there and get uranium, but the story in the article I pulled up on the internet, it was about zeolite. I'm like, wow, look at that, because then it's useful for radiation. It's been used, it's got 1,001 uses and everything else. And when this whole COVID thing came, 2019, Christmas time.
Be careful with that word.
Yeah, I know.
19, right.
A bunch of my friends, all of a sudden people started getting sick, you know, stomach ache, you know, we didn't know what it was. It's winter time. So, you know, and there was a lot of them were sick for about a week. I felt it I started feeling something in my stomach. I immediately went to my cupboard, scoop. Next day I'm right as rain, because I figured it'll go right through my system. Whatever's in there that's acting up in my body and my gastrointestinal tract was just boom, right gone. I never got anything after that. So
totally.
I mean,
that stuff on a microscopic level is shaped like a cone, and it pulls in heavy metals, toxins, and it'll let stuff in. It won't let it out. But there used to be an argument that it was taking good minerals from your body, but then they started doing more and more studies and found out it takes 0 good minerals from your body. So like your magnesium, potassium, and sodium stays in your body, but it pulls out like the leads and the aluminums and all the other stuff. And so they're trying to shut the mines down, because there's they call it black oxygen soil, and it's got zeolite and other stuff in it. They completely shut the mine down in Canada like 4 or 5 months ago. They went in, shut the guy down, shut his operation down. So
wow. And then there was a faction out there trying to say, well, since it attracts lead, that by me ingesting it in a raw form and everything, the lead could get released. I'm like, and then right after that, I found an article that said the chemical process involved to get lead to free up from the zeolite matrix, that would never exist within the chemical makeup of your gastrointestinal juices and everything else. There's just no way. So, because they used to say, well, it lays out there in the open, you know, collecting lead, you know, whatever, from acid rains, all that stuff. And it's like, no, it's like, you know, another disinformation thing, because we can't have people
and this is you see the shift. You guys are seeing the shift. It's not just about the quantum financial system, because see, if we got the quantum financial system, we got medical beds that optimize your cells like never before, and you got a lifespan of 900 years old. But now you're coming back into a world that's still poisoned with bullshit products, with bullshit, underarm deodorant, with bullshit toothpaste, with bullshit, chemtrails, all this crap. It's like counterproductive. So we have to change everything, not just bring in GESARA and NESARA and get rid of the cartel in Mexico and get rid of all the bad actors and get rid of all these jerk off politicians and shrink the government down. But we got to clean the soil. We got to clean the air. We got to clean the oceans. We got to have programs to start rebuilding our coral reefs. We got to have programs. Re-education. We got to burn everything because all the things you learned were just nothing more than a bunch of bullshit anyway.
Yep.
Worth nothing, worth zero. Okay. Your educational value is absolutely zero. And clean the soil and put the right, nutrients in the soil so that we can grow fruits and vegetables that you eat like maybe very little. It's got so much nutrients that you don't need to eat a lot. You know what I mean? You feel satisfied.
Right.
You understand?
It's called devolution.
Exactly. So it's a whole thing. It's not just one thing. People think it's just about XRP. Okay, great. You got your XRP. You go in the med bed. You optimize your cells, and then you come back into a world that's continuously poisoning you. So your 900 years lifespan gets dwindled down to maybe 300 years. I mean, still better than before, but I want the 900 years. And then if I want another 900, I want to get back in and go in for another 900 ride if I'm having a good time.
Right.
You want to hear a little known connected dot, about aspartame and its connection with Alzheimer's, and it's in the diet sodas and all that. And the company that came out with it back in the 60s.
Mm-hmm.
Guess who the CEO was of the company at that time when it was instrumental in getting it released?
Was it Soros?
No.
I know that it's one of the bad actors, but tell us.
Rumsfeld.
Oh, okay. Yes. He died recently, right? Like 6 months ago.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
I mean, most definitely, but not in the way they probably told us.
Right.
Oh,
right.
yeah. Oh, there. Yeah. Oh, there. Yes. I read the intel on that. They only let you bring certain things into the tribunal. This is how this one story went. And he needed glasses, apparently. So they let him bring in his pair of glasses and sat him down at the table. You can just imagine the scene. And that's they only let you bring in certain things, but somebody gave him, he got these glasses, and when they started the thing, he bit the temple thing on the glasses. Cyanide.
Exactly.
So he wasn't going to go do anything, say anything. He just went boom, bit it, and that was it right there.
That's like them bracelets that a lot of them wear. They got what they call cyanide bracelets. So they take the bead off the bracelet and they eat it, and it's a cyanide pill.
Yeah. I've read all sorts of nefarious things. When Cold War went down, Russian KGB said that they used to they put a cyanide powder in a newspaper, and you'd be coming down one of them skinny little staircases at the parking garage. Mm-hmm. Come around the corner, and they just be poof. You just walk into the cloud. Then there was that reporter in the Ukraine that they were having problems with, and they wanted the government contacted KGB. The KGB said, "It's not our problem, it's yours." But then the guy got a little more higher profile, so KGB said, "Well, let's go do something about it." And this guy, they watched him. He crossed this bridge every day. And a guy walked up to him, accidentally poked him in the calf with his tip of his umbrella. And later on, they found this little bead that you had to use a microscope to see it. And it would look like a wiffle ball.
Uranium?
No, they put ricin in there.
Yeah. Well, remember a serial killer that then was infiltrated by the mob? The Iceman trials.
I watched his interviews, very chilling.
Oh, Huh, yeah. You want to talk about a guy that's,
that interviewer is like, should I be afraid right now? And he's like,
yeah.
no, no.
Oh,
And
he was something
how
else.
he tied that one guy up because he was getting bored. So he just tied him up in that cave or
I
whatever.
was
he
in
takes people.
charge. Yeah, I was in charge of moving his files from Bergen County to Trenton, New Jersey. Okay.
Wow.
I know the guy who interviewed him. He was a friend of mine, face to face.
Yeah.
He said, Mel,
Uh-huh.
a family man, went out, bought Christmas gifts, really, truly loved his family, worked hard, except his work was to kill people.
That's a whole different
Yeah.
mindset.
We moved the files down to Trenton because they got microfiche. Remember years ago we used to take all the stuff and microfiche it so that they can miniaturize the size of it, because we took literally probably 3 van loads of paperwork down to Trenton from Bergen County.
Yep. I remember his story and all the things, you know, how he had to go into that gay club to do that one guy, dropped something in his drink and then went over there and sat down and just watched it happen. The guy he tied up in the cave where he put a video camera on him, the guy was in there like 3 days and you basically filmed the rats eating him to death.
Yeah.
Because he was bored.
Yeah.
Because he was bored. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. He was hardcore, man. He was hardcore. No
But
question.
wasn't his story, he started out with the whole hanging 2 cats over a clothesline kind of thing in his younger days. That's how a lot of these serial killers.
If you go before that, he was an abused, you know, his father used to beat him, you know, pretty senseless for years and years, the abuse that he endured, and then he just passed it on, you know. And that was a very interesting character. Now back on track and getting back to health. Okay. One thing that you're going to start seeing once Mr. T gets back and GESARA and NESARA is they're going to reverse the thing of being able to grow hemp. Hemp is not marijuana and marijuana is not hemp. You could smoke hemp until the cows come home. You might get a massive headache. You ain't going to get high.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So, but hemp has something inside it called vitamin B17.
Cancer killer.
Loaded with vitamin B17. Your libido goes straight to the moon like that within a couple of weeks of taking it. Okay. And if you have vitamin B17 in your body, no other disease could live there because they're natural enemies. This is like the superfood that I believe that, because what they did is they bundled the marijuana and hemp laws together so that they can get rid of hemp, because they realize hemp is a good thing. You know, people don't realize the first American flag, okay, that's behind me was made out of hemp. Okay, the first pairs of dungarees, jeans, blue jeans, were made from hemp. You make the best clothes.
They use hemp string for hay bales.
Right. You can make t-shirts from hemp that will last you decades. You can wash them and wash them and wash them. You cannot destroy them.
Here's another thing. One of the people on that panel, if you will, or whatever, back then when they lumped it all together, made it illegal altogether. He owned the largest newspaper. I think it's the one that in San Francisco there, and he owned a large forest, so he couldn't have people making hemp, you know, hemp paper and everything else. And because then what would he do with these trees? You know, because you can grow an acre of hemp in a season, and it replaces 4 times what a forest would do for production of paper.
Exactly.
Not to mention fuel. I mean, the list goes on and on.
Bingo. Fuel, exactly. The cleanest burning fuel. Yeah. The cleanest burning fuel. You can have 3, depending on the weather you're in, you can have minimum of 3, possibly 4 harvests per year. And you'll produce the most incredible biofuel that you could burn in any car. Okay. And your car, you could put your mouth on the tailpipe, you're breathing in air because that's where you're burning. It's amazing stuff.
And that's outdoor growth. I mean, you start going indoor grow, forget about it.
Exactly.
Forget about it. Forget about it.
I love it. I love it. So yeah, no question about it. But they're legalizing marijuana here in Costa Rica now, and I know that there's a lot of people are pro, a lot of people are against it. You know why? Because over here, until GESARA and NESARA becomes the law that has to be enforced, then obviously then all bets are off. But right now, they're just going to give it to somebody who's related to somebody in politics, and it's going to be part of the family. They're going to carve it up amongst themselves. That's the way it's always worked,
Well, we said back in the day is that if you want to put the drug trade out of business, you just legalize it. The government will have it bankrupt in no time.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
I mean,
yeah. That's for sure, guys. What's going on the Russian-Ukraine front? Any new news on that front at all, or no?
I haven't been able to look at it today, but I heard that the U.S. embassy got hit in Iraq with 6 missiles.
Really?
Yeah, and then Iran's trying to take credit for it. I don't know. That's just what I've been hearing, and I can probably send you some of the links on it. But that happened last night, and it didn't hit mainstream besides like one news agency carried the story and a couple local stories.
Yeah,
but it's
like,
all over like foreign countries.
Yeah.
Like the Jerusalem Post
in the morning. Yeah, they probably reported at like 3 o'clock in the morning when everybody's asleep.
Yeah,
that's what they always do.
And I still have a piece of me that wonders, like, did that really happen, or is it just words on a paper? Video game footage, they've been nailed on that. A lot of the Ukraine stuff was verified as 3 different clips were actually from a high-tech video game that looks real as anything. So and I'll ask somebody, they'll tell me that, is like, were you there? No.
Well, it's all simulators.
Yeah, it's all, I start calling it stagecraft.
I'm glad you went there. I'm glad you went there, because now I'm going to add to that. What people don't realize, because technology, like I always say, can either be used for good or for bad. If the good guys win, we're going to use it for good. The bad guys win, we're going to use it for bad. If the bad guys win, for example, let's just hypothetically say the bad guys are going to win, we're all doomed, whatever. You're going to be able to go to the Starlink satellite system, pick your weapon of choice. That's why all these games that they've been training your kids in the living room, all these war games with all these machine guns and tanks and all this bullshit, that is the next step. Is you go into the satellite, you pick your weapon of choice down on the ground, which is a real weapon. And from your living room, you could be able to obliterate some people on the other side of the world. That's what that is all about. And people don't understand.
They do that with drones.
Well, and they do that with drones now. Exactly. Right. But the next step is to weaponize all kinds of like robots with machine guns and tanks. And it's going to be all unmanned. Some kid that's 14 years old or 12 years old is playing his little game, but he's actually not playing a video game. He's playing real life.
He's wiping out.
Yep. Wiping out some shit.
Have you seen that short little trailer? They didn't make it into a movie, but it's presented as a trailer for a movie called Slaughterbot. Okay, have you seen the movie Olympus Down?
Yes, I saw that one.
And then the third one is Angels Has Fallen.
Yes, I saw that one too.
The secret. Okay, and you've seen how they all them little drones just wiped out that whole contingent of Secret Service agents and tried to take out the president. And so then they put all the fingerprints and all the everything pointing towards that one Secret Service.
I know the trailer you're talking about now.
Yeah, where the kid and the guy, it starts out like TED Talk, and the guy's talking about all this tech and everything, and then he goes, and here's what so many million get you, and then there's just a swarm dumping out of the back of this C-130, and he said, and then it goes to this school, and it'll put your face, my face, and that drone will seek us out, and then shoot a bullet right in our forehead.
They got technology, Razor, that you'll be walking down the street.
It's already out there.
Yeah. If they want to take you out, they'll cut you in half, like where half your body falls this way, your other half of the body falls that way. Literally. That's what they have. They have stuff that is literally
they got them lasers from satellites.
Yeah.
That starts fire. I mean, they think some of these forest fires is from controlled burns from satellites. I forgot what they call it. It's like God's rays or something like that.
You're talking about rods of God.
Rods of God. That's it right there.
Yeah.
Those are 2,000-pound tungsten rods. They drop from sky with the precise accuracy. If they want it to hit on your car in your driveway, that's where it'll hit. And it accelerates to such a point, it's like got the force of an atomic bomb without the fallout. But the other things you're talking about are direct energy, and they were using those
That's
in
it.
California. Oh, yeah, where all of a sudden the house is totally incinerated, but the 2 trees on either side of it aren't even scathed. Oh, come on now.
They had a car got melted through. So like the center of a car was completely disintegrated, but the front of the car and the back of the car was still not completely burnt. It looked like something just cut it right in half, like a big laser.
Well,
One
Trump
of the-
said,
one of the-
Trump said it. He said, you're supposed to cut burns, like, 100 meters in between the forest. This way, if you have a forest and it cuts, to a part where there's nothing there, the fire will stop there. But the reason why they have it like this is they're going to burn everybody out and they're going to go buy the land for pennies on the dollar. That's how these people think. And they're going to buy everybody out and they're going to own everything.
You want to know what the funny thing about that burn in California? You laid the map over for the high-speed rail train. Boom, fit right over it from San Francisco to LA in there. I mean, it all fit. But another thing about them direct energy, there's an old report that a bunch of dolphins washed up on, I think, the coast of India or something with these unusual burns. They figured they were testing it out in the ocean, and this school of dolphins swam through it, and it superheats and everything else. So basically, nobody had seen anything like that before, but they washed up in India. I'm pretty sure is where they washed up at.
Yeah.
And so people are like, what happened? What went on here?
Yeah.
I mean, we've been up to they're up to some nasty things. They wouldn't let Jesse Ventura inside the gates at the HARP installation up in Alaska.
I remember that.
On that one episode. I mean, Bilderberger Group, Bohemian Grove, which the last few years it sold. That property's been sold. So that was one indication that they were cleaning the swamp. With all the stories. Brian Metzler sent his people. They tried to get on the property from the backside down the river and got out, and they were promptly arrested. And he had to come into town and basically bail them out of, because they were trespassing. I mean, and one of his things, Brian Metzler went and told you all about the Statue of Liberty.
Mm-hmm.
And how its height and everything else is divisible by 7. All this, they made it taller so the numbers would work and everything. It's like I never look at the Statue of Liberty the same way again.
Yeah,
it isn't all. It isn't all benevolent and like we've been told.
Well, first of all, the Statue of Liberty is a transvestite. It's not a real woman.
Right.
Did we give it the Duncan test? Crocodile Dundee?
Yeah, the Crocodile Dundee test. I love it.
Hey, what are you doing up there? I'm checking something. I'll be down in a
minute. Hey, let's close it out with this. The quantum financial system, XRP, is on a move. Tomorrow, the European Union votes on whether to outlaw Bitcoin or not. I think, I could be wrong.
Wow.
I could be wrong, but I think we're going to witness Bitcoin being phased out. I don't know if it's going to go to 0, but I know who's going to be the hero. And it's not going to be Bitcoin. The one that doesn't do
I know there was a segment on, I think it might have been Fox Business News or one of these places, how like they was talking about how XRP is kind of cutting a tether from some of these other movements, and it's going on its own movement. So it's not playing off of Bitcoin. So that's interesting.
Well, I'll tell you what, I know one thing is for sure. They've programmed the stability aspect in XRP because you've seen it move sideways for months and months and months and months. And unless that's programmed right into the code, it doesn't do that. It's got volatility. But because it's been programmed into the code, and that was nothing more than a test to make sure that, hey, when we launch this thing and we need it to be at 50,000, we don't want it to jump from 50,000 down to 5,000. You understand?
Right.
Okay. They needed a 50,000. Yeah. It could go to 50,000 and $50, or it could go to 49,950 bucks, but they wanted to stay within that sweet spot. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because that's where they need it, because it's for their convenience, not you and I.
Yep.
You and I are just peasants going along for the ride. You've seen my video where I do my skit where, Brad Garner, hey, what are you worried? What are you worried about? Hey, stop crying. Don't be a little bitch. Those are the bankers. They're crying. They know the party is fucking over. It's done.
Right.
Because if the party wasn't over and all the bankers can go from being, a billionaire being worth 1 billion to being worth 1 trillion, there would be no resistance. Zero. No resistance.
Yeah, they don't want us in the vehicle going for the ride, or even remember hopping cars in the winters?
Yeah.
Having all the bumper on a snowy street and
Yep.
getting pulled behind the school bus and everything. Yeah,
Absolutely.
They don't need no hitchhikers, huh?
Yeah. And then there would be a bunch of us sitting behind the church on both sides with snowballs waiting for the bus to come by and bomb the shit out of it. The good old days.
Yeah. Here, let me tell you a little bit my ancestral heritage. It's been explained to me over the years. I'm Irish, French, Canadian, Dutch, and Indian. The key one is my Dutch ancestor that I've been told is Peter Stuyvesant. That's New York. He was the first mayor of the Dutch colony in New York City. And there was supposed to be some piece of land that was willed to one of his people, and then they didn't pick it up. It transferred back into the state or the city. And I always used to joke. I said, yeah, I could, if it was all figured out and everything, and I could verify it and all that, I could be having dinner with Mayor Koch right now.
Yeah. Interesting. I'll tell you, tomorrow we'll see how the vote goes in Europe regarding Bitcoin. There could be a lot of pissed off Bitcoin Nancy's. Listen, I'm not going to mention who, but I have a friend of mine who I sold them on XRP, and they went and took their XRP and went back into Bitcoin.
Wow.
Don't want to be that person tomorrow.
Right. Because once that happens, it can make a chain reaction where the more countries start to get rid of it. More institutions and places that put their money in, it's not going to want to hold it or anything else.
Exactly. If I was a Bitcoin holder right now, I would be wearing a diaper because I'm going to shit in my pants. It's a smart thing to do if you own Bitcoin right now, get rid of it. Not financial advice, but you should follow it anyway.
As soon as you hear the ruling, get out, especially if you're not educated, I'd be getting out anyways.
Absolutely. XRP is the most educated people in cryptos. Our group is the most educated people in XRP. Nobody beats us. Nobody. Because everybody sings the same old song about Charles Schwab. They don't even know, like I say many, many times, they don't know that there's another team on the field. They think that, this team showed up unopposed. No. There's another, there's another team. War. Yeah, there's another team that's being led from the Orange Man all along. It's GESARA and NESARA, Quantum Financial System. It's the low-lying satellites. It's the quantum financial computer in Reno, Nevada, that's being guarded by heavy artillery. Okay, and I know because my friend Kirk lives about 30 miles away from that facility. I know. I got boots and eyes on the ground.
I have some electricians buddies that worked on a project up there when it was being built.
Exactly. It's
serious.
They
probably didn't know what it was when they were building it, putting it together. And then I worked on the Google server plant here in Vegas, all last summer or summer before.
Well, they did a good job trying to keep everybody away from XRP and trying to push it down to 6th position. But I think we've done a fantastic job at recruiting enough people that their lives are going to change because they understand the one thing is to hold, buy and hold, buy the dip and hold, dollar cost average in and hold. That's the old, Warren Buffett method. That's the one that works. not trading. I love it when these guys come into the room and they'll put a link. Yeah, take, $3,000 and turn it into $30,000. If you had that kind of capability, Urain, okay? If
you do it yourself.
Yeah, you would stay home and take the money you took 3,000 and you made it into 30,000. That means 10x, right? You would take that 10x and do it again the next day, and the next day you'll be retired in about 10 days.
You don't need nobody's help. I mean, that should be like a no-brainer. Like, hey, well,
right? Someone's trying to sell you some software.
Use his own money. Yeah.
Somebody's trying to sell you some software. They're in the software business. Because if somebody has a software that is foolproof, that can double and triple and quadruple their money, they're going to stay home and they're going to keep their mouth shut. Right?
Yep.
Like what I did yesterday is, I got 3 different US bank accounts. So I had a little bit here, a little bit there. I put it all into the one that's linked up with my Uphold, and came up with 2303. Boom. Buy 2303 more. I got some other bank accounts that I've had that I ain't been using. So I went into those, see what's there. My USAA account has $1.16 or something, and I got this Capital 360 account, and I went on. I got my password again, logged into it, and there's a couple bucks in there, and so I had to link up the USAA account because I definitely have the card for that. I don't know where the Discovery card is, so I didn't want to wait. So right now I'm waiting for the small exchange to link that external link the USA account with the Discovery, and then I'm going to send that couple dollars or so over there, and then I'll link that USAA card to my Uphold thing, and I'll buy $2 or $3 more. It's like
that's how you do it. That's exactly how you do it. You got money you don't need, you throw it in the market, you wait long term, you're rich. Congratulations.
Yeah.
My goal is to make Razor
anyway.
Yeah, my goal is to make Razor Rick 100 millionaire. If I can make him a multi-100 millionaire, even better. I want everybody to have. There's enough to go around. What happened?
Yep.
Yeah. What happened?
We're still here.
Oh, you're still there. Okay.
I seen something light up. I seen some stuff light up, but we're still here.
I lost you there for a second. I'm like, what the hell just happened? So I got to go back to my camera here. So my wife just logged me out, and then logged me out of another program, and it overtook this program. And I'm like, whoa, that never happened before. But yeah, so XRP is going to be the one. I think we're literally in the storm. We're in the final, stages.
The utility
of this.
should sell itself.
Mm-hmm.
The trillions, transactions, the less energy. I mean, Bitcoin, one transaction to 6 weeks of power to an average house. Just one transaction. All those computers got, one transactions.
That means somebody could be running their house for how long?
6 weeks.
6 weeks, a month and a half.
Even a simple Google will tell you that.
Wow. It's a no-brainer.
It tells you how many kilowatts. Yeah, because all these computers got to talk and verify it the way the blockchain works through it.
Because it's proof of work.
It consumes so much energy.
Yeah, it's all proof of work.
Yeah.
We're proof of stake.
But it doesn't do it efficiently.
Yeah. I know. It's amazing.
Yeah, these accounts, I'm planning on getting rid of them anyway. So I'm running them to zero.
Well, we're getting ready to laugh all the way to the bank, except the bank is us. We're going to get rid of you guys. You're done. Okay. Tim Draper says it. Robert Kiyosaki says it. McAfee said it. I mean, McAfee, I still believe, if there's anybody that's alive, it's him. McAfee's still alive.
He said it was a complete scam. Bitcoin was. He said it's a pyramid scheme. It has no utility. Get rid of it. He said, I mean, if you an interview between him and some young.
But the thing that kills me, Urain, the thing that kills me, Urian, the thing that kills me is the fact that people like Christopher Green, who are worth, according to him, he's only worth 600 million, but I think he's worth like 1.6 billion. He's sort of trying to hide his money, etc. He bought in very, very early. I think when Bitcoin was like less than $3. Okay.
Right.
So did a guy, I can't think of his name off the top of my head. Guy I used to follow from Canada, Jeff Berwick. You know who Jeff Berwick is? He used to have a
I
channel. This guy
personally
was
don't.
badass. This guy made a lot of money. He's got a bodyguard, and he's got a couple bodyguards. He's got a driver. He's got a house somewhere in Mexico. He's got a 199-degree view. You know, he's got an incredible view of the ocean. I mean, he lives like a rock star. Flies by private plane, private jet. You know, he's.
Well, of course.
I'll tell you a story about him, and then we'll close it out. But it's a funny story. You want to listen to this? He's a multi-gazillionaire. The problem is Jeff Berwick likes to drink a little bit. And when Jeff Berwick likes to drink a little bit, Jeff Berwick has got those beer muscles and he likes to start trouble.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So one day he's at a club in Mexico, right? At the beach, and there's like this road, and the cop would stop. And when the cop would stop, because there was a narrow road, he would cause traffic. So Jeff went and started yelling at the cops. Right? Say, what are you doing? You're causing traffic. Right? So the cops went around the block and they stopped again, and he did it again. The third time they arrested him. They put him in the back of the pickup trucks. That's what they do there. They got a pickup truck. They put you in the back of the pickup truck. They put you in handcuffs. They drive him to the police station. And when he got to the police station, he said to the police, he goes, listen, how much does it cost to bail? How much do I have to pay to bail myself out? He goes, $36. That $36 was that $36 was going to them, to the cops, right? So he said, how many people are in jail? He said, I forget the number. I think like 24, 25. He goes, good. He goes, I'm going to bail them all out.
Get them all out of here. Yeah. That's chump change.
He paid $36 times 24 people. He bailed everybody out. You see him coming out of jail and everybody's high-fiving him. It's hysterical. Yeah. He's like one of those rebels without a cause. I mean, like, if you want to have a good time.
He's a rebel with money.
Yeah, yeah. He does those, those conventions down in Acapulco, and everybody goes down there, all these people. If you want to party with somebody and you want to learn how to party the right way, Jeff Berwick is definitely your guy. I mean, this guy, he's unbelievable, But guys, it was fun. It was real. XRP is about to take over the world. Yes, we're going to hit 50,000. Yes, we're going to hit 80,000. Yes, we're going to even hit 100,000, and Bitcoin will be gone, and we will be the new and improved Bitcoin 5.0 on steroids. Thank you, guys.
Yeah,
Let's do it again.
All right. God
Thanks for
bless.
having me.
Bye-bye.